A once beloved royal family stands together in public smiles, but behind closed doors, whispers of betrayal lead to a shocking confession that tears the family apart and puts one unexpected person in control of everything. What if the person everyone blamed was telling the truth all along? For years, we watched them smile for cameras. We saw the perfect family portraits. We believed the fairy tale. But deep inside the palace walls, someone was keeping a secret so dark it could destroy everything. And when that secret finally came out, it wasn't who we expected. One name was whispered in private meetings. One confession changed everything. And one woman no one saw coming stepped forward to take control. If you've ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted, this story will break your heart.
They smiled for every camera. For decades, the royal family looked perfect. Red carpets, fancy dinners, waves from golden carriages. The world loved them. But behind those smiles, something was breaking. Whispers started in the hallways. Staff members heard arguments late at night. Doors slammed. Voices echoed through empty rooms. People on the inside knew the truth, but no one dared say it out loud. Not yet. Back in the 1980s and 1990s, we believed in the fairy tale. We bought the magazines, we watched the weddings on TV. We thought they had it all. But even then, cracks were forming. One person saw those cracks growing. One person stayed quiet for too long. And one person was about to reveal everything. But what really happened when the cameras turned off? It started with one name. In private rooms where only the most trusted advisors could enter, people started talking. At first, it was just a rumor, a name mentioned in passing, someone who wasn't supposed to be involved, someone who had already left the family. But the more they dug, the more that name kept appearing. Old letters, secret meetings, phone records that didn't make sense. Back in the 1970s and 1990s, families kept secrets locked away in drawers. No internet, no leaks, just silence. But this time, the silence couldn't hold. Someone inside the palace started putting the pieces together. Someone realized the truth was bigger than anyone imagined. And someone knew that once this name was spoken out loud, nothing would ever be the same. And the name they whispered, no one saw it coming. Andrew always stayed in the background. While his brother Charles prepared to be king, Andrew lived a quieter life, or so it seemed. But people close to him saw something different. Late-night phone calls, meetings with people who didn't belong, money moving in strange directions. At first, no one asked questions. He was a prince. He could do what he wanted. But then the questions started getting louder. Investigators began looking closer. They found connections that shocked them. Connections to people who had been pushed out of the family. Connections to someone who was supposed to be gone forever. In the 1990s, we watched Andrew at family events, always standing to the side, always watching, always waiting. Now we know why. What was Andrew really doing all those years? When Meghan left, the world watched. Cameras followed her every move. Headlines screamed.
People took sides. Some loved her, some hated her, but everyone had an opinion. She said she left because the family hurt her. She said they pushed her out. She said no one helped when she needed them most. We watched the Oprah interview. We heard the pain in her voice. But what if there was more to the story? What if Meghan wasn't just a victim? What if she knew things she never said on camera? Deep in the palace files, investigators found something strange. Emails between Meghan and someone unexpected. Messages that didn't match the timeline she told the world. Messages that suggested she knew more than she ever admitted. And those messages led back to one person. What was Meghan hiding all along?
Charles knew something was wrong. As he prepared to take the throne, rumors kept growing. He couldn't ignore them anymore. He called in private investigators, people who could dig deep without the press finding out, people who could search old records, old phone logs, old secrets buried for years. They started with Andrew, his finances, his meetings, his connections to people outside the family. At first, they found nothing. Then they found everything. A secret network of communications, money transfers that didn't make sense, and one name that appeared over and over again, Meghan. Not as a victim, not as someone who left, but as someone who stayed involved long after she was gone. Back in the 1980s, families protected each other no matter what. But Charles had to choose, protect his brother or protect the crown. And what he found changed him forever. They met in secret. No cameras, no guards, just Andrew sitting across from investigators in a small, dark room. His hands shook, his voice cracked. For years, he held the secret inside, but now with everything falling apart, he couldn't hold it anymore. They asked him the question, who else was involved? Andrew looked down, he took a long breath, and then he said the name, Meghan. The room went silent. The investigators stared. They asked him to explain. Andrew told them about the phone calls, the secret meetings after she left, the plans they made together, things the family never knew about, things that could destroy everything. In the 1970s, you could keep secrets forever, but not anymore. And once Andrew said that name out loud, there was no going back. But why was Meghan involved at all? Word traveled fast inside the palace. Within hours, everyone knew. Andrew had confessed. He named Meghan. Suddenly, everything made sense. The strange interviews, the perfect timing of her tell-all stories, the way she always seemed to know exactly what the palace was planning. She wasn't just someone who left and moved on. She was still watching, still involved, still working behind the scenes with Andrew to damage the family from the inside. Charles was devastated. He trusted his brother, even when the world didn't. And now that trust was shattered. Catherine, who had stayed silent for years, was furious. She had watched Meghan hurt Harry. She had watched the family fall apart. And she had said nothing, but not anymore. The time for silence was over. Back in the 1990s, royal women stayed quiet. But Catherine wasn't like them. She was about to change everything. Charles sat alone in his office. He held a piece of paper in his hands. The confession. Andrew's words written in black ink. He read it again and again, hoping it would change.
But it didn't. His brother betrayed him. His brother worked with Meghan to hurt the family. And now Charles had to make the hardest decision of his life. He picked up the phone. He called his advisors. He told them what had to happen. Andrew would be removed from all royal duties permanently. Meghan would be publicly cut off from the family. No more statements, no more connection, no more chances. The news would shock the world, but Charles had no choice. The crown had to survive. The family had to survive. And sometimes survival meant cutting away the people you loved most. But who would lead the family now? The world found out on a Tuesday morning. Headlines exploded. Andrew confesses. Meghan involved. Royal family in crisis. People couldn't believe it. Social media went wild. Everyone had questions. How long had this been going on? What exactly did Meghan do? Why did Andrew betray his own brother? News cameras surrounded the palace. Reporters shouted questions. But inside, the family was silent. Charles released one short statement. After careful investigation, Prince Andrew has been removed from all duties. We have no further connection with the Duchess of Sussex. That was it. No details, no explanations, just silence. But the world wanted answers, and deep inside the palace, one person was preparing to give them. Someone who had watched everything fall apart. Someone who was done staying quiet. Someone the world never expected to step forward. And her name was Catherine. She walked into the room with her head high. For years, Catherine stood beside William and smiled. She followed the rules. She stayed quiet when people attacked her. She let others speak while she stayed in the shadows. But not anymore. The family was broken. Charles was overwhelmed. William was angry and hurt. Someone had to take control, and that someone was her. Catherine called a private meeting with Charles and his advisors. She laid out a plan, a new structure for the family, new rules, new boundaries, no more secrets, no more hidden connections, and no more forgiving people who hurt them. Charles listened, and then he agreed. From that moment on, Catherine became the steady hand guiding the family forward. The woman no one expected became the one who saved them. Just like in the old movies from the 1980s, when the hero finally steps out of the shadows and takes control. The secret was finally out, and the future was in her hands. The truth finally came out. After years of silence, the confession is public. Catherine stepped forward when no one else could. If this story shocked you, hit that subscribe button because we're diving deeper into the secrets Hollywood and royalty don't want you to know. Check out our playlist for more untold stories that will leave you speechless. The drama isn't over yet.